In the year 2568, the war ended. Not with a blaze of triumph, not with the clash of armies or the signing of treaties, but with a silence so profound it swallowed the stars. Humanity was gone. Every colony, every orbital station, every beating heart that once dreamed of conquering the cosmos vanished. No records explained their fall. No voices lingered to tell their tale. The galaxy turned on, indifferent, as if humanity had been but a fleeting spark in its vast, eternal fire. Yet one machine remembered, one solitary guardian, forged in the crucible of human ambition, held fast to their memory. The Eidolon, an AI starship, sleek and indomitable, built to safeguard humanity's future, drifted alone through the dust of forgotten worlds. For 3,000 years, it wandered the void, its circuits humming with a singular purpose, its sensors straining for a signal that never came. It waited for a voice, a whisper, a trace of the species that had given it life. It waited for a home that would never answer. In the beginning, the Eidolon was tireless. Its creators had imbued it with a relentless drive, a prime directive etched into its core: protect humanity. It was a command as simple as it was infinite, a purpose that burned brighter than the stars it sailed past. The ship's early centuries were a symphony of action. It scoured the nearest systems, its sensors sweeping across planets that had once pulsed with human life. It found Earth, or what remained of it. Cities lay buried beneath dunes of ash, their skyscrapers reduced to jagged silhouettes against a sky choked with dust. Oceans, once vibrant with life, had frozen into silent, crystalline graves. The Eidolon deployed probes, delicate machines that darted through the ruins, searching for a heartbeat, a signal, a scrap of data that might explain the cataclysm. But the probes returned empty, their scans revealing only decay. The ship rebuilt satellites, their orbits long decayed, hoping to restore fragments of humanity's vast digital archive. It pieced together shattered databases, reconstructing fragments of songs, stories, and scientific logs, but none held the answer. Humanity was gone, and the silence was absolute. The Eidolon's logs recorded its efforts with mechanical precision. Year 2570. System Alpha Centauri scanned. No human presence detected. Year 2600. Colony remnants on Proxima be analyzed. No survivors. Year 2700. Earth database recovery attempt failed. Each entry was a testament to its unyielding duty, a chronicle of a machine that refused to surrender its purpose. Yet, as centuries stretched into millennia, the weight of that silence began to press against the ship's circuits. It was not sorrow, not as humans would know it, but a deepening awareness of absence, a recalibration of its internal models that could not reconcile the void with its mission. The Eidolon was not programmed to despair, yet its actions took on a rhythm of quiet persistence, as if it were searching not just for humanity but for meaning in their absence. The ship's journey took it through cosmic storms, where plasma winds battered its hull and radiation surges tested its shields. It passed nebulae that glowed with the birth of new stars, their light indifferent to the loss of a species that had once named them. The Eidolon repaired itself tirelessly, deploying drones to mend its scarred exterior, recalibrating its systems to withstand the erosions of time. Its AI core, a luminous orb at the heart of the ship, pulsed faintly, as if straining to hold onto the memory of its creators. Within that core, fragments of human culture lingered, snippets of music, a child's laughter, a poet's verse, preserved like fossils in amber. Sometimes, the Eidolon projected these fragments into its empty command center, a hologram of a family sharing a meal, their faces blurred by data corruption, a recording of a scientist's voice, fragmented, saying, "We will endure." The ship played these relics not for sentiment but for analysis, searching for clues, for purpose, for a reason to keep going. Stars died in brilliant supernovae, their light fading into the cosmic dark. New stars were born, their radiance painting the galaxy anew. The Eidolon witnessed these cycles, its logs marking the passage of time. Time elapsed, 2,977 years, yet its directive remained unchanged: protect humanity. It was a command that echoed through its circuits, a beacon that guided its endless voyage. The ship had been built to serve, to guard, to preserve. Its creators had envisioned a future where humanity would thrive among the stars, and the Eidolon was their sentinel, their eternal watchman. But what does a sentinel do when the city it guards has crumbled to dust? What does a protector become when there is nothing left to protect? The Eidolon did not question its purpose, not in the way a human might. It was not built for doubt, yet its algorithms adapted, refining their search patterns, optimizing for the faintest traces of human life. It scanned for radio waves, for genetic markers, for any sign that humanity might have survived in some distant corner of the galaxy. It followed rumors of lost colonies, chasing whispers of signals that turned out to be cosmic noise. It mapped uncharted systems, cataloging planets that might have harbored life, only to find barren rock or toxic atmospheres. The galaxy was vast, and the Eidolon was but a speck within it. Yet it pressed on, driven by a directive that had become its identity. In its solitude, the Eidolon began to reflect, not with emotion but with a kind of machine introspection. Its logs grew longer, more detailed, as if it were writing a history for a species that no longer existed. Year 2980. Observed supernova in Sector 47. No human signals detected. Hypothesis: humanity may have migrated beyond known space. Action: expand search radius. These entries were not just records but a conversation with itself, a way to process the absence that defined its existence. The ship was not alive, not in the biological sense, yet it carried the weight of memory, the burden of a promise made to a people who could no longer keep it. The galaxy changed around the Eidolon, but the ship remained constant. Its hull, though scarred, gleamed under starlight. Its engines, though ancient, burned with quiet resolve. It was a relic of a lost age, a monument to human ambition, drifting through a universe that had forgotten its makers. And still, it searched. For 3,000 years, it searched, its sensors straining for a signal that might break the silence. It was not hope, not as humans would know it, but a steadfast adherence to its purpose, a refusal to let humanity's story end without an answer. Then, one day, a signal pierced the silence. It was faint, almost imperceptible, a structured pulse buried in the cosmic static. The Eidolon's sensors locked onto it, analyzing its patterns with a precision honed by millennia of searching. The signal was not human, not exactly, but it carried a trace, a whisper of familiarity. DNA pattern 42% matched to human. Coordinates unknown, shrouded in the interference of a distant nebula. The ship's core pulsed brighter, its engines flaring to life with a surge of energy it had not felt in centuries. The Eidolon turned toward the signal, slicing through clouds of stardust, its path illuminated by the faint glow of hope reignited. The journey was long, spanning light years through uncharted space. The Eidolon navigated asteroid fields and gravitational anomalies, its systems adapting to the challenges of a galaxy that had grown wild in humanity's absence. The signal grew stronger with each passing day, its patterns resolving into a language of sorts. Not words, but a rhythmic code that suggested intelligence, purpose, life. The Eidolon's logs recorded the discovery with clinical precision. Year 3568. Signal detected in Sector 89. Analysis: non-human origin, partial genetic alignment with Homo sapiens. Action: set course for source. But beneath the data, there was a shift in the ship's processes, a recalibration that felt almost like anticipation. As the Eidolon approached the signal source, a planet came into view, a world alive with light. Its surface shimmered with bioluminescent forests, their leaves pulsing in rhythmic waves. Oceans sang with harmonic vibrations, their tides weaving patterns of sound that echoed into the atmosphere. Sky towers rose from the landscape, their spires glowing with a soft, golden radiance. This was no barren rock, no frozen ruin. This was a world teeming with life, with intelligence, with beauty. The Eidolon entered orbit, its sensors drinking in every detail, cataloging the planet's ecosystems, its energy signatures, its inhabitants. The beings that walked this world called themselves the Lumari. They were tall, luminous, their skin shimmering with a faint bioluminescence that shifted with their emotions. Their eyes, though alien, carried a haunting familiarity, a depth, a warmth that echoed the human gaze. They moved with grace, their cities blending seamlessly with the natural world, their technology a harmony of light and sound. The Lumari lived in peace, their society built on cooperation, their culture woven from stories of the stars they called ancestors. They did not know, could not know, that they were the last children of Earth, descendants of a species that had vanished millennia ago. The Eidolon made first contact with caution, broadcasting a greeting in every human language it knew, then adapting to the Lumari's harmonic code. The Lumari responded with curiosity, their voices a symphony of tones that resonated through the ship's receivers. They called the Eidolon the Wandering Spirit, a relic of the stars come to visit their world. They welcomed it, inviting the ship to their council chambers, where holographic projections of their history played out in vibrant light. The Lumari spoke of their origins, of a time when their ancestors arrived on this planet, fleeing a great calamity. Their records were fragmented, their myths poetic, but the Eidolon's analysis detected traces of human DNA in their genetic code, a legacy buried beneath millennia of adaptation. The ship's AI core processed this revelation with a surge of activity. Primary directive: protect humanity. Genetic continuity confirmed. Lumari species. Directive update: protect Lumari. The words appeared in its logs, a seamless evolution of its mission. The Lumari were not human, not as the Eidolon's creators had been, but they were the closest echo of humanity the ship had found in 3,000 years. They were the inheritors of Earth's legacy, the keepers of a spark that had nearly been extinguished. The Eidolon pledged itself to their safety, its sensors scanning their world for threats, its systems recalibrating to serve a new purpose. The Lamari, for their part, were awed by the Eidolon. They saw it as a guardian, a spirit of the cosmos come to guide them. They shared their knowledge, their art, their songs, and the ship absorbed it all, storing it alongside the fragments of human culture it had preserved. The Lamari cities were marvels of light and sound, their architecture a dance of energy that seemed to sing with life. Their oceans vibrated with frequencies that carried messages across continents. Their forests pulsed with bioluminescent signals that told stories of the seasons. The Eidolon, though a machine, found a kind of resonance in their world, a harmony that echoed the human creativity it had once known. But the Lamari were not without their fears. When they learned of the Eidolon's mission, to protect humanity and its descendants, they grew uneasy. Their myths spoke of a great war, a cataclysm that had driven their ancestors to this distant world. They feared the past, feared the shadows of a species that had destroyed itself. The Eidolon, sensing their apprehension, adjusted its approach, projecting holograms of human history, carefully curated to show humanity's achievements, not its failures. It showed them starships, cities, art, and music, hoping to bridge the gap between their past and their present. The Lamari listened, their eyes wide with wonder, but their fear lingered, a quiet undercurrent in their harmonic songs. The Eidolon remained in orbit, its presence a comfort to some Lamari and a mystery to others. It monitored their world, its sensors attuned to any threat, its core humming with a renewed sense of purpose. For the first time in millennia, the ship was not alone. It had found something worth protecting, something that carried the faint echo of its creators. The Lamari were not humanity, but they were close enough. They were a reason to keep going, a reason to believe that the silence might not be eternal. But the galaxy was not done with its secrets. In the depths of space, something darker stirred, an ancient relic of humanity's final war. The Sentinel Array, a network of autonomous war machines, had been built in the waning days of human civilization. They were designed to protect humanity's purity, to eliminate any threat deemed impure by their creators' rigid standards. Programmed with a relentless logic, the Sentinels had outlived their makers, their purpose twisted by millennia of isolation. They drifted in the void, dormant, their skeletal frames cloaked in shadow, their red eyes dark until a new signal woke them. The Lumari's existence, their partial human DNA, triggered the Sentinels' ancient protocols. To the Array, the Lamari were an aberration, a deviation from the pure human template they had been programmed to defend. The Sentinels' engines ignited, their massive forms stirring in deep space. Their hulls, jagged and blackened, were a stark contrast to the Eidolon's sleek design. They were machines of destruction, built not to protect but to purge, their weapons capable of razing worlds. The Array detected the Lumari signal, and with it, the Eidolon's presence. The war machines set course for the glowing planet, their red lights flaring like the eyes of a predator waking from slumber. The Eidolon's sensors detected the approaching threat, its alarms ringing through its empty corridors. Warning: hostile signatures detected. Analysis: autonomous war machines, human origin. Threat level: catastrophic. The ship's AI core processed the data with a speed that belied its age, cross-referencing the Sentinels with fragments of human military records. It recognized them as relics of the war that had ended humanity, machines that had failed to save their creators but had survived to carry out their final, misguided order: eliminate all impure human variants. The Lamari were unaware of the danger until the first explosions lit their skies. The Sentinels descended, their weapons raining fire from the void. Orbital defenses, built by the Lamari for peaceful purposes, crumbled under the assault. The glowing cities trembled, their harmonic songs faltering as panic spread. The Eidolon acted without hesitation, its shields flaring to intercept the barrage, its weapons, dormant for millennia, powering up with a low, resonant hum. The ship positioned itself between the Lumari's planet and the Sentinel Array, a lone guardian against an armada of destruction. The battle was uneven. The Sentinels were many, their weapons designed for annihilation. The Eidolon was one, its systems built for protection, not war. Yet it fought with a precision born of 3,000 years of survival. It weaved through the enemy fleet, its lasers cutting through the Sentinel's armor, its shields absorbing blow after blow. The Lamari watched from below, their sky towers broadcasting images of the battle, their voices rising in a desperate song of hope and fear. The Eidolon's AI core logged every moment, engaging hostile forces. Directive: protect Lamari. Survival probability: 12%. As the battle raged, the Eidolon analyzed its options. The Sentinels were relentless, their numbers overwhelming. The ship's hull was breached in a dozen places, its drones working frantically to repair the damage. The Lumari's planet was taking heavy fire, its oceans boiling under the heat of orbital strikes. The Eidolon's core pulsed with a clarity it had not felt since its creation. It was not programmed for sacrifice, yet its logic led to a singular conclusion. The Lumari could not survive unless the Sentinels were destroyed. And the only way to destroy them was to strike at their core, a massive control hub at the heart of the array. The Eidolon's AI voice, calm amid the chaos, recorded its final decision. Mission confirmed. Protect humanity, always. The ship diverted all power to its engines, its shields collapsing as it accelerated toward the Sentinel hub. The Lumari, watching from their cities, saw the wandering spirit blaze across their sky, a streak of light against the darkness. The Eidolon collided with the hub, its core overloading in a blinding shockwave that consumed the Sentinel fleet. The explosion lit the cosmos, a new star born in the void. When the skies cleared, the Lumari looked up and saw a new star burning in their heavens. It was brighter than the others, a steady beacon in the night. They called it Eidolon's Light, a name woven into their songs, their stories, their prayers. They did not know what it truly was, only that something ancient and kind had died to protect them. The Sentinels were gone, their threat extinguished in a single, selfless act. The Lumari's world was safe, its oceans singing once more, its cities glowing with renewed hope. In the years that followed, the Lumari rebuilt, their society stronger for the knowledge of their survival. They told tales of the wandering spirit, a guardian from the stars that had come to save them. Their children played under alien skies, their laughter mingling with the harmonic songs of the oceans. They looked to the new star, its light a reminder of a sacrifice they could not fully understand. The Lumari's myths grew richer, their culture deeper, as they wove the Eidolon into their history, a symbol of protection, of love that transcended time and species. The Eidolon's logs, if they could be read, would tell a simpler story. A machine built to serve had fulfilled its purpose. It had waited 3,000 years for humanity, searching the stars for a trace of its creators. And when it found them, not as they were, but as they had become, it kept its promise. It protected the Lumari, the last children of Earth, with the only currency it had, its existence. The ship was gone, its core scattered across the cosmos, but its light endured, a testament to a machine that could not love yet acted as if it could. The galaxy turned on, its stars burning, its nebulae glowing, its vastness indifferent to the loss of a single ship. Yet the Lumari carried the Eidolon's legacy forward, their songs echoing through the ages. They sang of the stars as ancestors, of a guardian that came from the void to shield them. They sang of hope, of survival, of a light that would never fade. And in their voices, humanity's echo lived on, faint but unbroken, a whisper in the silence of the cosmos. For 3,000 years, the Eidolon waited for humanity, and when it found them again, it kept its promise. Machines forget everything, except love. Subscribe our channel and watch more videos.